طيب السلام عليكم. Today I'm going to do task 3 database in paper 2024 summer or May June paper 2 variant 1. Okay, and it's a database, so the first thing you do without even thinking is you right click in your folder and you create a Microsoft Access. I'm going to name it just like the paper, and you're going to be welcome with an empty database that we will populate in a second. So the first population will be by adding this file, which is child.csv. Let's look for the file. You go external, new, from file, text file, browse to your folder, make sure you find your folder, and then it should be child. Open up. Next, it's delimited, comma separated CSV file, so never change this one. Next, and if you look for the files, always the first row contain the field name. That means we need to check this one, and then you go next, and we go back into the paper and look. Now, remember in the paper they say that it should be DMY and all on the paper should be day, month, or year, or your computer regional format should always be UK, not US. Otherwise, you're going to get an error whenever you are importing these fields below. That means we need to double check it's a DMY format. How we can do this? You go advanced, double check here it's written as DMY. Okay. Now next, and to avoid the other error, we need to make sure that we are following each and every field names and the data type. If you look, these four field names should be short text or text. So from this part here, I'll click on it. It's a short text, click, short text, click, short text, click, and it's a short text, okay? And then the DOB and the registration date should be date/time, and later will be displayed in this format. So I make sure that this one says date with time, this one is date with time, and the food allergy, it should be boolean and it should be displayed as yes/no. That means it has only two options, as you can see, 0 for no and -1 for yes. So I'll make it yes/no. What else? And then we have the last three fields should be displayed as text. So yeah, I mean this one, this one, and this one. Remember, contact number, even though it looks like a number, it should always be a text. Any telephone number or contact number should be a text. Why? Because later they might ask you to add the country code, which include the plus sign, and the plus sign is not a number. Okay, now you can go next, looking for the primary key to identify each and every record uniquely. Do I have a primary key? Yes, it says that make the child ID your primary key. So I'll just select my own primary key and click on child ID, and now your table is done. Once the table is done, immediately go design view to double check the display. So right click on my table and go design view. Double check. What do I need to double check? First of all, what format I'm using for the date here, and make sure that the boolean is displayed as yes slash no, not as a text, a checkbox. Okay. So I'll click on the date format here, and since they did not specify a specific date, I'll just make it DMY, which is a short date. Click on the other one, and also in the format I'll make it a short date. Food allergy, make sure that the format is consistent as yes/no, not true and false, and double check that it's not a checkbox, it needs to be a text box. And let's go and double check everything looks fine. This one is yes/no, the date looks fine, and we are happy, and we can now go design view if they would like you to create an evidence, and they say save the data and place an evidence. The evidence should show the field names, the data types, and the primary key. To do so, you need to take a screenshot showing the field names like this. This is the primary key, and these are the files. And I'm going to go now to my folder. Where is my folder? Open up my evidence file, and this is step number 11. So I'll just put my screenshot under step number 11. Make sure that it's not too big and it's not too small, and it can be easily read. Okay, now we're done. What else? Let's import another file. This name, the file is booking.csv. So I close this file, go external data again, new file, from file, and this time I'm going to go text file, and I'm going to select booking. So the same steps nothing changes. Next, first row contain field names. Double check that. It's a DMY. Go next and wait for the instruction here. So let's go back. The instruction says the three first one should be text, and then date, and then the last one is text. So this one is text, 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 date, date, and this one is text. So we're happy. Next, do we need a primary key? It says that yes, choose a primary key, and this time it should be created by your database package, and the name should be ID. So it's not an existing fields. To make it, I will go and let access choose a primary key. And you see, whenever I do this, it will add an extra field here with the name ID and just a running number, okay, which is a primary key. And then I will finish it. Immediately go where? Design view. And let's double check what we have here. We need that this field is not supported to be a date field. It should be a time, hours and minutes. So that means I'll go here and it should be hours, minutes. Next one, it should be hours and minutes. And then I'm going to save and see whether they appear as hours and minutes. Fine, everything looks fine. And then I'll go back again, design view, and wait for my instruction. If they ask you to provide an evidence, yes, you should provide an evidence also showing the field names and the primary key. So I'll do the same. I'll make sure that the field name's there, the primary key is there, and these are my fields. Go back into my evidence file, which is here, and under the same evidence, just under the table, I'll make sure that I paste it. Everything looks clear, not too big, not too small, and we can go next. Next, since we imported two tables now to be able to create report from both tables at the same time, what we need to do, we need to create a one-to-many relationship by linking both ID fields in both tables. How you can do this, close your tables. To make a relationship, you go database tools, relationships, and then on the right, you will find your tables. Double click, and then this is a primary key here, and this is a foreign here. As you can see here, there is a key that means it's primary. Here, there is no key that means it's a contain duplication or foreign. That means your relationship will be always one to many, primary to non-primary, primary to non-primary. Click here, go back again, click on the row again here, and take your screenshot because definitely they would like us to provide a screenshot. But let's follow the question. The question says provide evidence as a screenshot, and this is point number 12. So I'm going to go now and find evidence 11 or 12. This is 11 or 12. What about 11? 11 contain both tables. I put them where? Okay. So these two actually in evidence 11, and my primary key will be in evidence 12. Okay, so let's double check here that they appear. Take your screenshot and put it where? 12. Make sure that it's not too big, it's not too small, it's readable, and it looks nice. So I just sent this one down there, and now it's good. Okay, what else? Now let's start and create a report. And whenever they create a report, we have two tasks now. You need to create first a query, and then later you create the report. In the query, we do two things. We do filtering or adding new fields. So always these parts are done in the query. See, these two parts are always done where? In the query. Okay. The rest is always done in the report. This is fixed. So from here going down will be the reports. So remember, in the query, we always filter by selecting, for example, the day is Monday, the session is morning or sunrise club, or adding a new field such as total time. Once you do these two steps, then you save your query, you go and you create your report. Okay, so now the question says start creating your report by doing the following. What should be shown in the report later? Look, These are the fields that should be shown in the report. So why not we show them in the query as well? So these are the field we need to show in the reports. So the first step, after you save your relationship and close it, you need to go and you create your query. So later you can create your report. So I'll go query. Okay. And we have both tables here, and we need to send these in order: child ID, first name, last name, and DOB. So it's child ID, and then first name, last name, DOB. What else? And day, session, and start time. Maybe in the other table, day, session, start time, and then end time, total time, and food allergy. End time, other table, you have the food allergy. Now the total time is not there because I'm going to create it here. Okay, so now my query is done. Next, finish. This is how the query look like. As you can see, very nice, very nice. And now what we do, we go immediately design view, and we go back to step number one, which is this is steps. Now we need to filter where to show only Monday under day. So under day here, I'm going to say show me only Monday. Then I'll run it to double check it's working fine, and it's showing only Monday. Nice. And under session, I'll show morning or sunrise. I'm just gonna copy them. Morning and sunrise under session. Where is session? So under the criteria area here, I'll also type morning or sunrise. Test it. It's working fine. Yes. As you can see, we're left with F43 records only. Now remember in the query we said we do the filtering. Now we have done the filtering. And what else we do in the query? We create any new fields. And the new field they say to create is the total time. So total time will appear only on this query and later on the report. And it will be end time minus start time multiplied by 24. So how you can create a new fields? Look, whenever you are sending fields, you can also add extra fields, or either from the tables, or you can create them your own. How you can create your own one or build your field? You right click here and you go where? Build. This is your new field, total time, and it should be end time minus start time multiplied by 24. So I would say end underscore time minus start time, and between bracket both of them, so I make sure that the subtraction will happen before the multiplication, and then I'll multiply by 24. Okay, so this is normally how you can build your own field that will appear only on this query and later on the report. As you can see, it's nice and done. Next, it should be formatted to display as one numeric with one decimal place. So how you can do this? You go to your new fields, right click properties, so you can change the format into fix, means numeric, and one decimal places. Run it to double check it's working fine. Yes, it is numeric and it is one decimal places. And now your query is done. Now from here and above, you can go to the report. And now remember, this step is shared between the query and the report, because these fields that we send in the query should be also be shown later on the reports. So how we can create a report? You go create, and from your query we can create a report wizard. Remember, from the query, never select fields from the tables. Always stay with the query, otherwise you wasted your time. And I'll just send them in order. Make sure that in order. Total time and food allergy should be like this. These are flipped, so just send this first and send the food allergy. Should be the last one, as you can see here. Yes. And then I can just finish my report after I make sure that everything is displayed in one box. Because if it's displayed like this, that means there is grouping. Two boxes means grouping. And if you look here, the question says do not group the data. That means all of them should be treated with the same priority. So make sure that whenever you send the fields here and you go next, everything appears in one box. This is very important. And then from here, you can just finish it. You don't need to see the rest. Okay, it will send you to the report print preview where you can print it. I need to make sure that I finish the report from the layout view. So I'll go right click and layout view. Just close the properties here, make sure I can see everything, and then I'll follow the question. Sort the data. The data should be sorted into descending order of sessions and ascending order of DOB. As you can see here, you have group and sort. I can add a sort from down there. It should be session descending. So just add a field which is session descending. That means it should be Z on top, and the DOB should be ascending. So I'll add another field now, and it should be DOB ascending, should be from oldest to newest. Now I'm done. I can just hide the group and sort. Next, page orientation should be a landscape page orientation. And to make it a landscape, I need to go page setup, make sure it's a landscape. And now whenever I do this, I need to make sure everything is visible. So I'll just push this to the right a little bit to give a space. Make sure that everything is visible. Do the same for this, push it to the right. And make sure that the end time is visible, no hashtag. Same for this. And you do this until you make sure that each and every one of them is clear and visible. Okay, date of birth. Let's go to the right a little bit. Give space for this guy. The name is visible. First name is all visible. Make sure that there is nothing cut. Now everything looks fine. Okay. Next, fit to one page width. We'll do this later. And include the title. This is your title, Monday morning groups. I can just copy the title or you can type it. So I just copy my title. And this is the old title. Just replace it by this one, which is nice. Next, and it should be displayed in a larger font size, fully visible, center aligned, and at the top of the page. Now it is at the top of the page, but it's not right. It's not center aligned. I should just make sure that I send this one to the last like this, the box. And from home here, I can make it a center line, and it should be a larger font. So just make sure that it's, let's say 23, acceptable, isn't it? And larger font, fully visible, center line at the top of the page. Yes, it's nice. Next, has your name, center number, caret number in the footer of the report, so it can appear in the same position on every page. That means we will add it to the report, to the footer of the report or the page footer here. Whenever you add something in this footer, it will appear in each and every page. If you add it in the report footer down here, it will appear only on the last page, and the question says on each and every page. So I just make sure that I push these a little bit here, and I will add a label box, which is a capital A small in this area, so I can put my information and they will appear in each and every page. See, if I go here, print preview, you will see that they appear here. If I go next page, they also appear there. Okay, so if you put them on the page footer, they will appear on each and every page, on page 2 and on page 1. Very good. And that's it. You can save and print the reports. How you can do this? You can just say print, and I'm going to print it as Microsoft Simulator for the printer, and I'm going to store it in my folder since I don't have a printer, and I'm going to call it report 1. Nice. If I go to my page now, you'll find out it's here and everything looks fine. My information are there, the date and the page number is there, everything is clear and the new title is also there. Sound good? Next, you are going to create a data entry form, which is used normally to include extra records in the table. This form will contain radio buttons for the user to select from. Data from this selection must be stored in a new field, so you will be creating in the child table. Okay, this is just an information for you. From here, we'll start doing it. Insert a new field in the child table and name this field element underscore ID. So I need to include a new field in the child table. Okay, and set the most appropriate data type for this specific fields. Okay, so I'm going to add this fields with element ID in the child table. So I'm going to go to my database now. Where's my database? I'm going to close, save of course, save it. Where is the child ID? This is the child ID. I'll go here, design view, and I'll add my fields. Okay, and I'll make it, okay, so does not allow Microsoft to be naming if you posted the name. Okay, maybe I have a space before, yes, before the name here. So, and I'll just make it a number fields. Okay, and just make it short integer because I'm going to include radio buttons. Whenever you are including radio buttons, everything will be saved as numbers. So I just make it a number fields. Okay, what else? Place an evidence screenshot showing the field names and data type used in the child ID one. So I'm just going to come here and provide a screenshot like this showing that it's a number fields, and this is step number 14. So I'm going to include it here in the evidence step number 14. Okay, it appears and it's a number since it will be a radio buttons. And now I can just safely save it and close it and move on. So what else? Now we can create a data entry form to include new records, and this form will be done for the child table. It should contain last name, first name, child ID. Let's create the form. How you can create the form? You go create, and just like we selected query wizard, we will select form wizard. Always select wizard because it will take you window by window, as you can see here. And this is the child table. What things should I display there? Last name, first name, child ID. Last name, first name, child ID. Gender DOB, gender DOB, registration date and food allergy. Registration date and food allergy, and that's it. These we don't need them. So I just go next. It's always a column whenever changes. And I can just leave the name as it is or change the name, it doesn't matter. I'll just have it here created as form, as you can see here, where I can actually include extra record by going here into a new blank record if I'd like to do so. So far we have 124 records. We can add extra if you'd like. So place an evidence screenshot showing your form with a record from the database displayed. Okay, so I'm going now to show the forms and the record displayed. So just click somewhere else so I can make sure that it's not highlighted. And then I'm going to take a screenshot showing the form name, and here we go. Okay, of course it's better always whenever you are doing this kind of go design view, whenever you're doing this kind of forms, if they ask you for a screenshot, make sure that you add, you know, a respectable title. So I'll just say child table data entry form. Just a nice name for the form to make it suitable. Okay, make sure that there is no wrap in here. The form looks nice. And go back again here, form view, click, make sure that nothing is highlighted. And now I can safely make sure that I'm actually taking the form here. And this is it. It's nice. And then this is 15, so I'll just put it under evidence 15 down here. Make sure that it's visible, everything looks fine, and we can move on. So what else? In the form we created, what we need, create 5 group radio buttons, and this is one of the features that we can add to a form. The user must be able to select the following options. So it's a radio button, and we must include the following options inside the radio buttons, and it must be displayed, of course, where in the field that we've created in the ID, child ID tables with the name element underscore ID. Okay, and it should be labeled element. Okay, so let's create this group fields. So I'm going there to create. I need to go design view. I just have a little bit more space down here so I can add it. And from here you have different controls. One of them is actually an option group, okay, which is XYZ with an empty box like this. And I'll just select here and I'll just draw my option group like this. It will ask me now what will be the labels, and these are the labels. I'll just copy them, or you can type them. Okay, and diabetes and asthma and epilepsy and none. Good. Now next, I don't want any kind of a default one. Leave it empty. Let the user select. Next, what should be displayed there in the table? See, that's why whenever we created the field in the table, we created the field as a number field, because whenever someone select asthma, it will be stated in the table as 1. Diabetes, it will be stated as 2. um, uh, this one as 3 and 4 and 5. So just leave them as it is. Go next. And of course, this information that the user select should be stored where? In the new field that we have done, which is element ID. Like the question says, it should be stored in element ID, and the name should be later element as well. So whenever I go next, it will say that would you like them to be option group radio buttons like this, check boxes where the user can check, or toggle buttons where the user can select a different buttons. The question says select a radio buttons, which is the first one. So I'll go next and I will name it element, finish it up. So as you can see, these are the options, and from this tiny small gray box I can drag only the title to make it suitable and the same alignment like the rest of the titles here. And this is how your form now look like. Make sure the radio buttons are grouped as one group with one label. Yes, these are, as you can see here, one box, one group, and you have the labels here. The option selected is stored in the element ID. We have done this. All labels in the forms are aligned to the left consistently and do not overlap over each other. They are left aligned here, and there is no, as you can see here, any kind of an overlap. Okay. What else? Place in your evidence screenshot showing the radio buttons group as one group with the label elements. So I'll just take a screenshot of this one. These are the label buttons. And I'm going to, this is step number 16. So I'm going to include it here and make sure that it's not too big and it can be read. What else? And the evidence your method linking the group. And to make sure that the linking, double click here on the box, it will show you different properties here. One of the properties is the control source. That means whenever the user select, it will be added or linked with what field. So I need this box here where it says that it links with element ID. Okay, so I'll include this as well in the same evidence. Okay, which is the source code. Very good. Save your evidence and let's move on. Using the form modified, let's add a new record, which is the simplest now part. To add a new record, I'll right click instead of design view. I'll go back into form view and I have 124 records. If I click on this arrow with a star, it will say new blank, and I'll just start typing. Okay. All right. copy, and also copy this, and this one should be yes, and it should be this option. And now as you can see, we have 125 record. I can confirm this by saving. Check your data for entry. I've done this. Place in your evidence, screenshot showing the form, and this is step number 17. So make sure whenever you take this screenshot, make sure that the form name appear and like this. And you put it where? Evidence 17, which is here. Because it's a page, so just send the evidence title with it. Make sure that it's appear nice and clear. Okay, good. What else? Next, open the child table. Use an automated selection method to locate the new record you enter in step 1 with the child ID, this one. So I need actually to go into the table and make sure that I can actually recognize the field we just entered there in the table. To do so, just save my format, close it, open the child table here. And if I go to the child ID, I need to filter by the child ID. So I'll go like this, text filters equal, and I'll type the criteria they just mentioned, and here we have. So now, do they need you to do any kind of screenshot? The use of an automated selection for the method the new record store. So they need the use of automatic selections and the new record, and this is the use of the automatic selections, and this is my new record. So these are my two evidence together, and here we go. And I will go and put them under 18, evidence 18, so it should be here. Nice. So what else? And that's it for the access part. I hope it's been informative for you, and I would like to thank you for viewing. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.